Welcome. It's time for our weekly contemplation. This week's word is perfect. And it's interesting because last week I actually had some work to do that involved a concert, and I absolutely wanted it to be perfect. And if we contemplate the word perfect, I think we can all agree that, of course, that's what we want for a lot of things in our life. We want to say the perfect thing at the perfect moment. We want to make that perfect meal. We want to buy the perfect gift. Because in some way it feels like that would be the absolute rightness of it. And yet, if I contemplate the word perfect, I'm not sure that it actually holds the value that I really think is important about a good performance, and whether or not perfect is actually the word I should be looking for. The interesting thing about perfect is it really tends to lead us to being perfectionists. And once again, a word that can be held up to us is that's a noble and great thing to hunt for, but also can be a pretty big stick to beat ourselves with. So I feel that perfect and perfectionism are really loaded. And interestingly, this weekend over breakfast, one of my kids said to me that they'd been contemplating perfectionism, and they decided that maybe it wasn't such a great thing because it sort of indicated stagnant. That if it was perfect, it would have no more growth and it would have nowhere to go, and it would be in some ways kind of stuck. And stagnant was such a great word because I immediately thought about swamp water in Ontario that is stagnant in the summer and nothing is happening in it. It's kind of dead. And I thought, wow, if that's what I'm doing is creating something that's sort of dead and immovable, that's not important to me. And so this week, I want you to think about what you hear in the word perfect, and maybe what you wish was perfect about you or your life, and maybe your perfectionist streak. And get curious about what words really are coming up, because I will say to you, in my world, stagnant was not what I wanted. What I wanted was creativity and fluidity. And if really that performance I gave was going to be perfect in my memory, it would have been alive in the moment and not stagnant. So something to think about this week. This week's word, perfect and perfectionism. What do you really value about that word? And maybe it's time to put perfect and perfectionism to the side and pick a brand new word. Talk to you next week.